What's up, Simonics? Welcome to a new vlog episode, and today is all about time.
All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
There was a very interesting debate on Twitter just recently about how much you should work or how long you should work. There are different opinions about this, and today I will talk with you about the general topic of time. How much should a developer work? Because it's easy to feel like everyone around you is constantly working. If you're a bit social on any social media platform, you will notice that it looks like basically a developer is working the regular job with more hours than required, and in the free time every weekend creating a new project. It's quite easy to feel like you're not doing enough or you should do more. So let's talk about time. Before we get into the topic, just a quick reminder, next week we're gonna do another app review. If you have any submitted apps recently that we haven't seen before, leave them below in the comments and I will try to review them and give you a little idea about what could be improved, or if it is already great, leave it below. I think the initial debate started with the tweet of Jason Fried, I'm not exactly sure, from Bootcamp. You might know him, saying, if your company requires you to work nights and weekends, your company is broken. This is a managerial problem, not your problem. This is a process problem, not a personal problem. This is an ownership problem, not an individual problem. That was the first opinion about this topic, and a lot of people talked about this, and there were also comments that got a lot of attention, like this one. If you don't work nights and weekends in your 20s, you're not going to have a successful career. Sorry. Now I have a very special opinion about this topic. I'm not working a regular job anymore. I will try to give not too much about my opinion, but let's try to look at it from a more analytical position to see what might be the correct way in this debate. So the general question is, how long should a developer work or do work-related tasks? First of all, let's assume that the side saying you should really work your ass off is right. What you can argument in that favor is definitely that if you work for more hours, if you work on the side, if you work in the evening, if you work on the weekends, perhaps only if it is just related to developing, you will grow your skills faster. That's just something that's of course true. Also, there are certain startups that feel like they have a mission, and if you are part of a startup that has a mission and you are within that mission, you might don't really see all of your working hours as really working hours. You might be out with the team late and talk about things, and then you go back to the office because you're fired up for another idea. Then that's of course fine as well. And of course there are the times when you're working on a release and something just goes wrong and you feel responsible for it, so you work more hours than required to fix something, to make it to a certain release or milestone. These things in life just happen. But what happens if you're not really comfortable with working so many hours? Is this a problem that you need to solve? Is it your personal problem? Or in the other case, might it be a problem of the organization? So if this pattern happens more often than not, it looks like the manager or your boss or whoever has a certain problem in managing resources, because normally you should be required to work for, let's say, 8 hours, perhaps 9 hours. That differs from country to country. Actually, I think in Finland they had a recent news line. They were trying the 4-day work week with just 6 hours per work per day. I think that's a great experiment. I'm really interested how this goes. But especially if you feel like you need to do this, I think then we go into the wrong direction. Because if this comes from yourself and you really want to do this, then I think, well, just work how many hours you want in your 20s. But you shouldn't feel like you have to do it. If you look at what society says, you need to work really hard in your 20s, you need to work like 80 hours per week, that's just something that you shouldn't accept if you don't want it, because that's not the truth. There are things in life that are a lot more important. Especially one topic that's not talked about a lot is sleep. I'm currently reading Why We Sleep. It's a great book. Bill Gates recommends it. You should read it. I think you will have a different perspective on sleep after this. But I'm drifting away a bit. The negative side or the other view on this topic is definitely, as I said already, it's more like a company problem. If the company is not able to manage the resources accordingly and you have to work more hours than you should do, then it's not really your problem, it's their problem. They should perhaps hire someone else or have a different scope for their projects. Also, something that was always kind of a problem for me is that if you work in these companies, you basically work for somebody else's dream. It's not really your dream. So with that assumption that you're working for somebody else's dream and then you are required to put in more hours to fulfill that dream, that is just something that looks wrong to me. I don't know what you think about that. And finally, of course, if you have a family, if you have a wife, or if you have kids, the time you spend on your job or working is time you take away from them. And especially since I became a father about 1.5 years ago, I see things very differently. All the time that I put additionally into creating everything that you see I do is time I take away from my family when they are around. If they're not around, of course I can work as much as I want, but when they're here in the house, I just like to spend time with my family. And if you're just selfish thinking about how much you should work or you should make progress, you should always think about that you're taking time away from these people that you love. And finally, a big point, in a lot of books you will read quotes from people that are dying, the last words, or basically at the end of their lives, and like everyone is saying, I worked too much. And I don't know why people can't see this and they only see it when it's already too late at the end of their lives. Why not see this when you're 20 or 30 and simply understand that working isn't the most important part in life? So let's get back to the initial question of how much should a developer work? Do you have to work all the time? Do you have to learn frameworks all the time and languages and get better and educate yourself and start side projects to show your skills? I think the answer in general to this is no. Because a lot of young people look at this tech bubble and see how many hours these people are working, and perhaps they're scared of what they have to do, and so they don't even try to become a developer. But you can still be a great developer, work just like regular hours, spend your weekend with your family and live a happy life without following a certain career path in which you have to work your ass off and work like 15 hours per day. If you're a solo, if you don't have a family, don't have really a lot of friends perhaps, then I think why not work as much as you want. If you enjoy it, it will get you forward. Of course, all of this is nice, and if nobody else is sacrificed for your own success, then why not go for it? But in any other case, if you don't feel like it and just feel the social pressure to work more, or feel like everyone is doing more so you have to keep up with the Kardashians in the developer kind of way and learn the new framework in another language and create a new project, then I think that's a very unhealthy opinion or a thought. So I want to encourage you to not work too much, get enough sleep, value the rest of your life as much as your work. Jason Fried proposed something like 8-8-8, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, 8 hours whatever. I think that's in general a very good idea. What are your thoughts on this topic? I'm really interested in what the Simonics community thinks about this. Do you work more than required? How do you feel about working too long? Do you feel this social pressure to constantly keep up with the latest technology and always move forward? Or are you more on the relaxed side and just enjoy the simple things in life and enjoy how things are for you? Leave a comment below the video. I would really love to know it. Next week we're gonna have our app review. Again, leave whatever you want right below the video. And then I hope you have this week a very relaxed week of coding, a good day with not too many bugs, and then I will catch you next week like always. So happy coding, Simon.